Wait is finally over. Sean and Kaycee are here in studio today.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Welcome on in to the Point with Kristyn Burtt, and I have to tell you, these two have the best fans in the world, because not only do they you guys blow up their social media accounts, you've been blowing up my account for like a month, which is incredible. I love all of the support. Without further ado, let's introduce Sean Lew and Kaycee Rice.
What's up?
Hi, guys.
What's up? What's up?
This is incredible. The excitement, I've got to tell you, people were waiting in the chat room. They're like, it's going to start in like a few minutes. I've been watching it. It's really incredible, the ride, because I sit there and I was listening to you guys talk out in the hallway earlier, and you were like, we just want to create quality content. And I'm like, that was the last thing I was thinking about at 16.
Yeah.
But I love that the two of you really are very focused on your dance career.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, dancing means a lot to us, so that's kind of just where our head's at this point right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot happening too, and a lot of excitement. I know we've got the duels coming up. You are not on tomorrow's episode, but on an upcoming duels episode.
Yes.
That's what we can say for sure.
I believe.
Yes. All right, so I want to get started because both of you, being so young, were you both the type that was in the dance studio at 3, 4, 5?
Yeah.
All right, what was your first dance class, Kaycee?
So I started dancing when I was 4.5. And actually, before I started dancing, I did Taekwondo, and my whole family did it, but I really never really liked it. So my mom put me in a hip hop class, and I fell in love with it, and that's when I realized that I wanted to do that for the rest
You
of my
were in a
life.
baby hip hop class at 4.5?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's why we have all those cute videos of you out on YouTube. They're amazing. I fell down the rabbit hole today watching a few of them, and I'm like, who is this tiny little person? Like, just whoop, whoop. That's my hip hop. We'll stop there. How old were you, Sean?
I started actually going to a studio when I was 4 too. I started learning from a teacher when I was 4, and then I had my first tap solo when I was 4, and it was to a Lion King song. And then the moment I was able to shake my little tail on stage, I wanted to keep dancing. And then I, started doing ballet and then hip hop, and then just went on from there.
Have you kept up with your tap?
No, but I do miss it a lot.
Yeah, it's one of those things, a lot of kids, I think, I started with tap too.
Yeah.
I did it for a year, then kind of went right into ballet and jazz and everything else. And then it fell by the wayside. I picked it up for a couple years, but then I never, and it's such a great art form.
It
It's
is.
hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you tap?
I used to a lot, and it was actually my favorite style, and which I do miss it a lot, but it's just hard because there aren't many tap classes anymore that you could go and train.
Yeah.
But I love it so much.
I mean, it's still I think it's still in our blood because we started with it
Yeah.
and we've done it for so long. But I wouldn't say that I can compete in a tap competition.
Right.
For sure. Yeah,
You're not out there at the World Tap Championship.
exactly.
But maybe you guys in the future will do a tap duet.
Hey.
I'm throwing it out there.
Whoa.
Maybe.
Come on, that'd be kind of mind-blowing.
Whoa.
Plot
That'd be pretty
twist.
crazy. That'd be pretty crazy.
I kind of want to see it now. When did you really know? I'm going to start with you, Sean. When did you really know that this was something beyond just a recreational class, or when you're just like, hey, I'm going to do this. This is my soccer, my football, my whatever.
Well, ever since I was a little kid, TV wasn't really my thing. I never really liked TV. I never really liked to play video games, all that kind of stuff. It was just more listening to music. Music was always something that was in my blood, and I used to grab my SpongeBob radio, and I used to always put my CDs, and I would always try to recreate my sister's old competition pieces when I was little. So music was just always in my life since I was born, and ever since that, I kind of want music to be involved in my entire life. And that's kind of when dance came in, and then I realized that it was the perfect platform for me to use music and take advantage of it and use it to inspire the world or change it.
Or I also think sometimes when you're just going through stuff, sometimes going to a dance studio and just dancing it out is the greatest,
It's the greatest
therapy
feeling
in the world.
It's the greatest feeling in the world. Yeah, for sure.
You're like, I had the worst day. Let me just go dance it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how about for you, Kaycee? Because I sit there and I think Katy Perry, work, hello. Can we throw up that little photo? Because she's so tiny and cute.
Aw,
It's
yeah.
under work.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I didn't pull up the video. There it is. The little neon. Yeah.
This move right here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Come on, Kaycee.
that would hurt.
Oh my gosh. No, it's crazy. I did start at a very young age, and I think ever since even before I started dancing. Like it was just always inside of me. So when I took my first dance class and I took these competitions, like the first year I had one dance that I would do at competitions, and the moment I got off stage, I was like, I want to keep doing this. Like, where's the rest of my dances? And like I just continued to find love for dancing, and I'm so happy that I'm able to do it, and I have like the body to do it, and it's just one of those things that you can't explain how much you love it. It's just like
So much
your
joy.
passion. Yeah.
When Katy Perry did tweet this out, were you ready for this explosion? Because
Oh my God.
I mean, I was watching video today of her like on CNN, and you're so tiny, and your voice is so tiny,
Oh my
and, but it's so cute.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect it. I mean, I was like a competition dancer, so it was just a competition dance, and we put it up on YouTube just for fun, and it was just kind of like one of those fluke things. Like it just happened, and when it happened, like I remember it was one of my fans who commented on my photo, like on Instagram, and was like, "Hey, Katy Perry just tweeted your solo." So I
Just
was
the
10.
usual. Just the usual.
I was 10 at the time, so like I really didn't understand the whole thing. So I told my mom, I was like, hey, my fan just said that Katy Perry tweeted it. So we looked it up, and we're like, no, it has to be like a fake account.
Yeah.
But then we looked it up, and it was the actual thing. And my parents, I think, were more like freaked out, not freaked out, but like excited about it than I
Yes.
was. I was just like, oh, okay, cool. But they were like, oh my gosh, this is huge. And then ever since then, like it's just been a crazy ride. I'm so thankful for
It'll
that.
always be your calling card.
Yes.
I mean, you've got many more calling cards, but I love that you're literally like, I was the cute little one from work.
Right.
Which is amazing. Now, how many years have you guys known each other?
Too long.
Too long. I know. This is like the, we
I
love
think
each other.
6
Some days we're
years.
annoyed with
6
each other.
years.
6
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
1, 6.
Did you guys meet through I'm a Beast or outside of that?
Outside of that, we met through competing against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we both started as competition kids, and so then we met at like a competition. I think it was Star Power.
Yep.
And
No, it
ooh.
was Showstoppers.
Oh, Showstopper.
Showstoppers.
Oh, Showstopper. There you go. And then we took like this really awkward picture together, and then that's when
Is that when the friendship began?
yeah. I mean, we started bumping into each other in a lot of classes, like in LA, and then I was like, I'm seeing you too often not to know your name. So like, then we got closer, and then we became friends, and then these past couple of months or even past year, we gotten pretty close.
What is it about the friendship that works? Because I think, oftentimes you can be friends, but you can't always work together. It doesn't always work. And I think that's really important as a part of your partnership here.
Yeah. It's funny because before we even decided to like dance together, we kind of just, we were friends. And then the more we started to work with each other, it was kind of just this natural, I think like working with her when I first started working with her as like a duet, she kind of like reminded me like why it's so much fun to create and why it's so much fun to dance and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, I never want to like stop that feeling. And so that's when I kind of started to, I was like, we have to do more, and we have to create more. And that's kind of where my mindset was at. And it was just this, nothing felt forced, nothing felt pushed, and nothing felt unnatural. Everything
It's organic.
Everything felt super organic, and it was kind of for the best, because when you see the work that we put out together, it doesn't come off fake, or it doesn't come off it doesn't come off for the like we're doing it for the wrong reason.
It's very authentic, and I think that that's really important. The movement's authentic, but also the feeling is authentic, and that's why people are gravitating. What is it about Sean that you adore?
Well, when we first started like becoming more of like a duet, it was about a year ago, and he asked me to do this video with him called Wrong Words, and it was such a powerful message, and it was like an incredible experience just getting to work with him and be able to see how he works as well. And I think when we first started, like, I didn't say a lot. I would just be like, okay, yeah. And he would just like, he would just tell me like what to do, and I would do it. But ever since like when he asked me I wanted to do WAD with him, like we grew closer, and we were able to work together rather than him like just saying.
We learned a lot about each other that we can't forget about.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's important though. You having a voice and
Yeah.
is really important, and I think it's important for you to hear it too,
Yeah.
because that's the way the partnership succeeds
Yeah.
in the long run.
I think if you decide to have, a long-term partnership, you have to learn to be friends first and learn to trust each other first, and then you can move on from there. Because I feel like if you can't learn how to do that, then throughout the whole process, you're only hurting each other and you're hurting yourselves. And I think that that's kind of something that you don't want. And especially with dancing, because it's in our lives, we don't want it to, affect our lives in the wrong way. And we want to take advantage of it and use it to, like you said, have a voice in the world and use that and, spread out a message that really matters and that can change other people's lives.
With Wrong Words, because that was the piece that kind of like really sparked it all. David Javier is a fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic
He's a great person.
cameraman too. I mean, and obviously you're directing. When did you know this piece was going to be magical? Did you know it during the process or when you finally set it free and put it on the internet?
Well, the funny thing is that every time we create, I always have like 4 different versions of the piece. And so we start with one piece and I look back at it now and I'm like, this is horrible. This is really bad. And I tell her, I was like, why did I ever teach you this? And then I look into her last piece and, I never really focus on, oh, is this going to blow up or is anything like that. I kind of focus more on, is this really worth putting out? Is this something that's gonna?
Is it gonna impact people?
Yeah, is it gonna impact people? Because I think I can speak for the both of us. When it comes to like the numbers of the videos that we create, it's less about the amount of numbers that we receive and more about the lives we impact. Because I feel like that's kind of the main purpose of why we dance. And Wrong Words was just kind of a life experience for us. And I knew that Kaycee had that similar situation too, and so I kind of asked her to be a part of it. So, the way we portray this message, it would be authentic and genuine rather than, making it just look like, oh, we're doing this video because we dance good. I think that it was just more of, I want to do this video because it means a lot to both of us. And I'm sure that if we explain it to other people, they would understand that too. And it can definitely affect their lives in a better way.
Yeah, that's a great message too, especially it's amazing because I sit there and I see social media and it's so wonderful in so many ways and the internet's incredible. And then other days it is a mess and it's hard. And I'm an adult and I sometimes get, people will throw, take a shot at me and I'm like, gosh, that really hurts. And I just I have to process it. But it's harder when you're going through stuff, you're a teenager, there's school and there's work and there's everything. You guys have a lot going on. How do you process all of that?
Honestly, for me at least, I think for Sean as well, we try not to let it affect us because we know what we're doing is something that we love. And I think like with dance, we like to use it to promote like good things in life and powerful messages that could reach someone who's in a hard time and like really touch their lives and even change their lives. And I think that's just the main thing with us is that as long as we know that that we're using our craft for something good, we try not to listen to like the hate comments or anything.
The noise. Are you reading through your comments?
I mean, yeah. Sometimes.
When we have the time, we definitely do read the comments because I mean, hate or not hate, it's great motivation. Like either if it's great comments, we sincerely appreciate that, and if it's a hate comment, we preferably use that as motivation to become better rather than allowing it to bring us down. And I think that that's kind of how we always approach it. And by explaining how we approach it, we use, like you said, our craft to do good things about it and explain how we react to it and all that kind of stuff. So
I love that. That was a question from Elise, by the way. I just want to throw that out because she wanted to know how like you process all of the input from the fans. It's a lot of input, and some of it is positive, and then there's days where you're like,
it's a lot, but it's incredible.
Yes. Okay. Good. I know. I was asking you earlier because I was like, I don't have notifications on my phone because I get enough interactivity from because I'm covering 3 different dance shows right now. And I was like, there's no way you are leaving your notifications on your phone. You guys would never sleep. All night I'd be like, beep, beep. It's a lot of information to process. How did you guys make the decision to do World of Dance? Because season 1 was a mega success. There were some bumps in the roads, I think, for some of the dancers, and I'm sure you've heard some of them, where their dances were cut in the middle and people were upset. They've improved upon this tremendously for season 2. But how did you know that World of Dance was going to be the right move?
I can answer that.
Okay.
Well, we had many people approach me and Kaycee individually to go into the competition, and I mean, I think she said it too, but we just kept saying no. And for my reason, I just didn't want to, because I was on season 1, and I was part of the getting cut out of the show.
You know what that experience is
and
like.
And so I kind of didn't want to experience that again. I know it was a great experience because I got to do it with all my friends, and it was super fun. But how me and Kaycee both approached it was, it all started with this really, really, really awkward FaceTime call. Just this. It was, no, I'm not even kidding.
2 hours long.
It was 2.
With the two of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just had this one like moment where I was just like, what would happen if I said yes? And then I just called her because I was just like, I wouldn't want to do it myself. You know, I would have to have someone that, you know, I can trust. And so that's when I called her, and she was just like, yes. And I was just like, hey. And I was like, I have this crazy idea. What if we do a world of dance? And then, you know, her mom was like, yes. And my mom was like, yes.
The mom's in the background,
exactly.
waving flags.
And then all you hear is just me and Kaycee, like, with their phones facing the ceiling, just with no talking for like at least an hour, just like.
It was a lot to process.
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot to process, especially for her, because I asked her, and then so I was like, I was just like, okay, so what do you think? And she's like, she's the worst decision maker too. Like, she can't make a decision. It's like,
I can't.
quesadilla, hot dog. She's like, I don't know, I don't care.
Give me both.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what changed your mind? What was finally the thing that just said, I'm supposed to do this?
I think it was after when we did Wrong Words too. I think it was just how well we worked together, and I was like, I want to see where this goes. I want to see what we can create. So when I said yes, like, I was obviously like nervous because I didn't know how I was gonna go, but I was like kind of excited to start something new and like really be able to
Push ourselves.
Yeah, push ourselves beyond the limits.
Yeah, I mean, when I hung up, I kind of threw up. I hung up. I was like, I was like, oh my god.
I just made a big life decision.
Yeah, I was like, this is huge, and this is like before I left the country too. So like the moment I called her and I left the country, I like didn't do anything but think about where to dance. Like I was on the plane, I was like, okay, what are we gonna do? What song?
How are we
I
gonna
was
choreograph?
Like, yeah, I was like, who's gonna do this? And it was just a mess.
Yeah, and you can't just have one dance. You have to be prepared for other rounds and things like that, just in case. And, you know, even if it's not complete just yet, you have to have the idea in your head, don't you?
Well, what's funny about us is that we didn't prepare. We didn't prepare at all.
So you wing it. I love it.
No, because we don't like to put our hopes up in thinking like, okay, we're gonna get through these rounds. We're gonna, you know, for us, it's more just like we looked at this as an opportunity to push ourselves into another level that we haven't experienced it as dancers and as artists. And so, you know, as we were going through the first round, then we were like, oh shoot, we made it. Oh, whoa, what? Wow. And then we got, you know, and then now we have to just like, we figured out the moment we finished the next round. That's kind of how it works. Like, we just like
round by round.
Yeah.
Just take the what is ahead of you.
Yeah.
So how did you prepare? I watched the behind the scenes. It was kind of interesting watching your
change.
qualifiers and how it
God.
changed.
Yeah.
And especially adding those blindfolds and going, this is what's going to take it to the next level. Was this a middle of the night, like you're about to fall asleep and you're like, blindfolds, that's what we need?
Yes, I woke up at 4 a.m. I was like, blindfolds.
I do that, honestly. Right before I fall asleep, I'm like, I've learned I actually have to keep paper by my bed because I have to write ideas. And then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what was my idea?
I wake up and I'm like, in the morning, I'm just like, wait, I got something. And I just like grab my phone and type it out. Yeah. But no, it was kind of a group effort or duet effort. It was like, you know,
I think like we kind of like bounced the idea off. Like in the beginning of it, we're like, what if we do blindfolds? But then we were kind of scared about doing it because it was a risky move because you cannot see anything with those things.
And it was just the first round too.
Yeah, so like the week of when we were preparing it, we're like, you know what? Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know?
it just felt like it was missing something. You know, we kept doing the dance and we're like, it's a great piece, but it needs something to elevate that kind of story.
Make it special.
Yeah, exactly. So
that stage, I've got to imagine, is a little bit of a challenge blindfolds because, you know, you've got the stage in the round, you've got all of the lights.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What was the scariest element of that?
I think for me, it was definitely like the partnering parts, because you don't know if you're gonna hit somebody. Because like when we were in rehearsals, there was this one part where my arm like swings and like he's supposed to duck.
But we can't see each other
But
doing that.
I like swing and I swing it so hard, and it just like
She hurt her hand and I hurt my head,
wrist so
yeah.
bad.
You just bladed him.
Yeah.
It was like a lot of trial and error, and I think that was
Yeah.
just like the scariest part about it, is like making sure our spatial awareness is right and
Yeah.
making sure we don't fall off the stage into the audience, you know.
Exactly.
Would Derek have yelled out, "You're too close"?
Yeah, exactly.
over.
Yeah,
Or J-Lo would be like, "Ah."
Yeah, exactly.
But it came off flawlessly. That was, I mean, it looked pretty good for me on my end of the screen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you heard the judges' comments, what was going through your head in that moment?
I don't even know. I mean,
Totally
Just
blanked out, right?
Shocked.
it was complete shock. I was just like, okay. I mean, just like the fact that we got J-Lo to go into tears, like I think that was a complete shock, because like we were trying to, you know, like I said, our purpose in the competition was to use, you know, World of Dance as that platform to, you know, really showcase our strength in storytelling and kind of just, you know, inspiring others. But we weren't expecting the judges to react like that at all. Like we really weren't. And, you know, the fact that like it just made it feel like everything that we worked and everything we did throughout the process, all the pain and all the trial and error, it was worth it. And I think that was just like the greatest feeling ever. Yeah.
That is a really good feeling. And it's interesting, too, now that we've been watching, you know, we're at 7 weeks, we're almost at 8 weeks with the qualifiers with Tonight's Show. But I thought last season Neo was the tough judge, but I feel like J-Lo has been really tough. So it's great that you were able to
Yeah.
move
Yeah.
her
Yeah,
with your
yeah,
piece, because they are sitting there and they're watching. So it's the qualifying round. They are watching a ton of content in
Yeah.
front of them.
Yes, I mean it's a lot. I mean I thought that this year the judges were even harder than the first season,
think
because
so.
they've already experienced like Jabberwockies, Ian Eastwood, like everyone, you know. And I feel like this year they know what they're seeing, and so it was definitely hard to set that first impression with them, you know, getting surprised or being, you know, interested in what the dancers are doing. It was definitely like a challenge for sure.
So you make it through to the duels, and the only thing we can obviously talk about, because we can't talk about what happened in the duels or who you battled.
Uh-oh.
Elizabeth is here to monitor all of us too. She's gonna stop the interview if we slip out. I joke with her all the time, but no, we're adhering to all the rules here because we want to. We want this.
Yes,
we want
of
the
course.
fans, of course, to
Yeah.
like understand all of that. But I think what's super important is your process, because you get off stage, you've had this great moment, and you go, well, now we have to go back to the studio.
Yeah.
How do you go back to at least prepare?
Well, for the duels, I think right as we got off stage from qualifier round, we were just like, okay, so this is happening. We're like, so
We've got another week.
What are we
It's
supposed
like-
to do?
It was like after blindfolds, what else are we supposed to do? Yeah, it was definitely
Yeah,
crazy.
but I think our goal for the duels is just to surprise people.
Yeah.
And just like keep them on their toes, being like, what are we gonna do next? Like, how are we going to be different?
Yeah.
Expect the
How are we going
unexpected.
to
Yeah.
stand out? Yeah, I think that was kind of our main goal. It was just to, you know, portray something that they wouldn't, like she said, they wouldn't expect. Because I think that that's kind of a necessity. Well, that was, I can't even say it. Whoa.
Necessity?
Necessity.
You got it.
Necessity. for a competition like World of Dance. You know, I think that that's something that you really need to think about in a competition like that.
Did you feel like there was a little bit more pressure on you after you delivered in the qualifiers?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Oh,
For
sure. Yeah.
You're like, oh, we did really well.
It was
Like,
that
we
it was
did-
that like switch off where we're like, yes. Oh snap.
Oh,
yeah,
my
exactly.
goodness. Yeah.
And on top of it, you guys have to do school. We were talking about this. There are child labor laws here in California, and there's a balance there too. So, you know, they're telling you have to rehearse, you have to be on stage. Oh, by the way, you have to get in a couple hours
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
That's not easy either.
Yeah, there were some days like where we would do like school for an hour and then we would go to rehearsal and then right after go back to school, but then oh wait, we have to be over here. So it was just like it was a lot going on within that week. So like we were like stressed out so much, but at the end of it all, like after the qualifiers, we're like, Whew, okay.
Oh yeah,
Let's do
I
this.
could barely grab a pretzel in the catering section when we were going back and forth. I was like, oh no.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the snack table is always good.
Oh,
yeah.
Always
for
good on
sure,
set.
For sure.
You know what I think really interesting is that you have had a lot of really significant choreographers really be champions of both of you. You know, Trisha Miranda, Cassandra Chavez, who, by the way, was my very first guest on when we started this show.
Really?
Really?
And I think she's incredible. I should say Emmy award-winning choreographer, by the way.
Yes.
Yes, by the way. Of course, wildebeest. Like there's some really incredible people. Tell me, because I just watched that incredible piece that Cassandra choreographed for you guys. Talk about what it's been like working with Cassandra over the years.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I was saying before too. I mean, we just finished rehearsing with her the other day, and I could barely feel my shoulder, and I could barely feel my hip. I think my ankles are broken.
She's testing you.
But the funny thing is that I'm not kidding. So I'm in so much pain, but it's like good pain because it shows it kind of shows me how hard I've you need to work in order to work with Cassandra, and working with her it's so great because I think that she really pushes us into another level that only she can really reach in a way where she's like, can you do this? I don't care, you just do it,
Just do it.
and
Do it.
she it's really great because she for us, I feel like she trusts us into portraying her work, and so whenever we're in the studio with her and we're creating with her, it's for me, I'm always like, oh, I love this, I can do this forever, because it's great doing it with Kaycee, and it's great learning from Cassandra, and I think it's just amazing. Yeah.
I just want to throw out there that Kaycee said she is not sore after rehearsing with Cassandra. So,
But that's not fair because she has no bones.
Well,
She has no
I usually
bones.
get sore like 2 days afterwards, so it takes my
So it's
body
coming.
like a second.
So
Yeah,
I'm
it'll
gonna get a
come.
text tomorrow and be like, oh my god,
Right,
I can't feel anything. I'm like, yes. Yeah.
but Kaycee, you have no bones, none. Are you like hyperextended everywhere?
No,
I actually am not
no,
hyperextended.
I'm
It's just my-
hyperextended.
I'm hyperextended.
Yay!
Elbow.
I'm straight.
That's all
Hi,
I've got.
Bailey.
It's just mainly like my back and my legs.
Okay. I just have the elbows, which do me no good.
I just love how we all have no bones. That's
No
great.
bones
That's great.
whatsoever. Fantastic. What has Cassandra meant to you?
Oh yeah, working with Cassandra has definitely been life changing. I think.
That's a great word.
Thank you. Like when we were rehearsing for the video that just came out, it was just crazy to like see how different like she works too, and we were able to like reach like different levels in our dancing, and we're like, whoa, like I didn't know we could do that. And especially like on a partnering level too, because before World of Dance, we never really did like partnering work.
I think the closest thing we got to a partner was like a high five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we never did lifts, we never did any of that. We barely even
Oh.
touched each other. But
Like I said,
especially
high five.
You're like,
especially working with Cassandra though, she really helped us like step out of the box and really help us reach a new maturity within
Yeah.
our dancing as well. And I'm just so happy that I got to do it with Sean too, because we were able to grow as a duet as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably gives you more ideas of what you guys are capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she's pushing you, you're thinking, well, I never thought we'd go in this direction
Right.
with
Yeah.
as a duo and things like that. Yeah, Cassandra, and what I like about Cassandra is that she's so kind and sweet,
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
but she also means business.
Right.
Oh,
Straight
yes.
shooter.
Oh, for
Yes.
sure. Oh, it's so funny because, when I'm rehearsing with Kaycee, at the studio, we're just like rehearsing and we're not even breaking a sweat. And then the moment she walks into the room, we're not even moving and we're just sweating. We're like dripping and we're like, oh, hey, Cassandra, how are you? It's so funny. But like she said before, it's kind of crazy to see how much we've grown from, learning from Cassandra as a duet and as dancers and together. It's crazy because like you said, like before we barely even partnered, and then now to see how far we've gone and how far we've grown, it's really crazy to see the growth, and I think it's pretty incredible.
In a very short amount of time, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, your first video together was what, 2017?
Yeah. Or 16.
16? Okay,
Wait,
so
you're always
No,
right. What is it?
I think it's 17.
I think it was
17, okay,
Yeah,
17.
so I'm like,
Maybe.
my research correct. I think it was 17.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're only halfway through 2018. Think
Yeah.
about that.
It's crazy.
And you're like, hi, we're on a national show.
Yeah. But like I said before in the beginning too, it's like if if you find the right person that that to dance with, or even to just trust, it naturally happens, rather than trying to figure out this long amount of time to just being like, okay, this isn't gonna work out, but we're gonna keep trying. Like it. I think like for us that doesn't necessarily happen. It's just more like, okay, let's just give it a shot. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and if it does, then let's go for it,
Yep.
But I think that, and it happens for both of us. It's not like, okay, you can't do this, but I can, so let's still do it. It's more like, if you can't do it, then we're not doing it at all. It's kind of just
Right.
more that finding that balance between each other and knowing that without even telling each other.
How about Wildebeest? Because I was like, I feel like he's also been very significant in both of your careers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
And so many young dancers in this town too.
yeah, of course.
I love listening to him and his philosophies and what he really honestly, he's a great, he gives you a lot of great life advice. I was on a panel with him about a month ago, and I was like, wow, I need to listen to this.
Yeah. He's great. He's been like my big brother since I was very little in LA, and he means a lot to me.
She makes you speechless.
Yeah, he does, because we've gone through so much stuff together. I mean, for both of us, he's been there for us a lot. Him and Janelle, I mean, they've both been like these dance parents. It's really great, and they carry so much knowledge within themselves, and they always share it to the industry, and they always share it to others, which is really great. And I think that it's something that we really appreciate and that we really take in, because it really helps us in the future and also in the present, and it's really affecting how we decide to do what we do now in the dance industry.
Well, and also they're a duo themselves. They're a power duo here in the dance industry too, and they choreograph together and everything else. And I think that it's a great partnership for you guys to look up to.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I have to ask about Trisha Miranda, because she did all your little solos when you were young.
Yeah.
How did you get hooked up with Trisha?
Well, I used to be at a studio that my mom owned, and one of our teachers there was like, you have to take Trisha's classes. And this is back when Trisha never taught kids, and she never had kids in her classes. It was very rare that she would let kids be in her classes. So one of my teachers was like, you have to take her, and he kept on talking to Trisha, and it's like, you have to look at this little girl, you have to. And then she's like, okay, fine, whatever. So I go into her class and I completely fail, but then she's like, oh my god, I want to work with her. So that's kind of how I met her. And then my mom asked her if she would do my very first hip-hop solo, because I have never done a hip-hop solo once in my life. And she's like, okay, I guess. So so then Trisha did work. She choreographed that
Straight off the bat.
and then it just
Straight off the bat.
it just blew up, and it was just crazy, because I was the first time I've ever worked with her, first time she ever choreographed a solo for a kid, and it was just such a crazy moment for both of us in our lives. And now she's super close. We're super close together, and we always joke around and make sarcastic comments, but she's such a great mentor and such an inspiration to look up to.
I love that, and I'm sure she appreciates. Thanks for the Katy Perry tweet. No, but it really is amazing, how many influential people in the dance industry have had a part in your young career so far. Because I sit there sometimes and I'm like, wait, they're 15 and 16. There's so much ahead too. That's the great thing. And to be choreographing, I mean, a lot of people don't get that mindset of I want to be a choreographer, and they don't develop that muscle sometimes into their 20s or even later than that. You, Sean, how did you know that you're this is what I need to do? Because there's one other person that comes to mind when I think of choreographing very young, and that's Ian Eastwood.
Yeah, well, I mean, choreographing is kind of just an outlet for me to just give out anything that I know of. It's something that I started choreographing because I wanted to do a piece for myself that that no other choreographer in my studio could do. I was just no one knows me better than me, So I was all right, so I'm just gonna do a hip hop solo. And now that I look at it, it was a huge mistake because it was horrible. But
It was great.
Oh my god, shut up! And it was
Were you serious or were you sarcastic?
No, I was serious.
no,
supportive.
it was not great. It was horrible. It was gold pants and a tie or something.
Okay, well, the outfit
Okay,
is
the
a
outfit
different
was-
story.
But the movement was good.
Yes.
And
Well,
it's a start. It's a
Yeah,
beginning.
it was
Yeah.
definitely a beginning for me, and I think that what was crazy was that I think Wrong Words was probably one of the first duets that I actually created too. So it was a whole new experience for me, and I think doing World of Dance definitely has at least changed my choreography mindset, because I would have never expected to do what we did on the competition. And so choreographing has just been something that I, whenever I'm listening to music, I kind of just naturally grew to, or I naturally just do things with it. And I'm like, okay, I can just find a time to actually sit down and choreograph to it and solidify what I want to do with this song. And I think that choreography has definitely given me this opportunity to do what I love to do. And I think that's something that I want to do for a long time. Yeah.
I love that. We had a great question from a fan too, and I just wanted to, Christina, who is one of your greatest fans. She's so great. She follows the show too. So, but she had a great question about you being a choreographer. Like, what has been your biggest obstacle as a choreographer, and how did you overcome it?
Ooh. Obstacle. We're gonna go to World of Dance.
Oh
yeah, definitely. World of Dance was a huge obstacle for me, because I went into the competition. I said no because I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it within a short time. I can't do it with under all this pressure. And so going into World of Dance, having to create a minute and 15-second piece, and to show all of what you can do within that time, and doing it with another person, I kind of just freaked out, because I went from looking at the very beginning of our piece. I was like, if we did what we did in the very beginning of creating this piece, we wouldn't even get through the first round. And so it was definitely a huge obstacle, getting stuck, especially choreographing. You always get stuck, and you're always like, okay, I've done this before. Or
it's like writer's block.
Yeah, exactly. And so usually how I overcome it, and I've gotten this from so many mentors and so many choreographers, they always just tell me to stop. They're just like, you just need to stop and take a break. You just need to get your mind off of it. And then once you kind of feel inspired again, or feel motivated again, that's when you can come back inside. Because whenever you're stuck, you can't force yourself to keep going, because you're just gonna hurt your mind and hurt yourself, So as long as you kind of just take a break from it, and kind of just let your mind process what you just created or what you thought of, then you take a break from it, take a step back, and then let the energy just bring you back into the environment of creating and choreographing, and then that naturally will happen, because there's infinite ways to improve whatever you're creating. But it's more of the matter of how you feel about it and what feels good about it. So,
and that's important. I think as artists too, when you get stuck, sometimes you're like, I've got to figure this out. And sometimes you're like, I am just chasing my tail on this, instead of just leaving the studio, grabbing a bite to eat, go to a movie, whatever works for you, to get you back to that creative place. I think that's important. Who, for both of you, who are the dancers and choreographers outside of the ones we've already talked about that really inspire you, people that you've looked up to your entire career? Which I love saying at 15 and 16. Your entire career.
I mean, that's kind of hard to answer, because we have so many teachers that carry a bit of knowledge that no one else has, and I think that if it weren't for all of them, I don't think that we would be where we're at today. I feel like it's not necessarily a specific amount of teachers that have taught us that that we look up to. We look up to every single person that has taken their time to really come up to us and teach us, that has really taken their time to really just share their knowledge of what they know and what they can give, and I think that that's something that we really appreciate every single moment of our lives. And I think that if anybody who has taken the time to teach us is watching this, we appreciate you 100%, because like I said before, each teacher carries something that no other teacher has, and I think that the fact that they're using their time, I mean, I keep repeating this, but they're using their time to really teach us, and I think that that's something that's super important, and something that we can't always give back, because it's great.
Well, teaching is a gift, and not everyone can teach. I don't think I'm a great teacher. But honestly, I know. When I was dancing, I was like, I can't teach. Like, I don't have the patience for it or anything else like that. But I do like sharing my knowledge with other people, so I teach in different ways, and that type of thing. And I think so. You take, one teacher might offer you wisdom, another offers you technique.
Exactly.
It is. It comes in many different shapes and sizes.
So it's always hard to narrow it down to specific teachers.
Right.
Every person that has taught us means a lot to us.
Well, Kaycee, I have to ask, because I saw this cute little clip where you were like, I hope to dance on So You Think with Twitch. Is that still a dream?
I I mean, it's definitely like still a dream. Like, I think it's for every dancer to be on So You Think You Can Dance. But it's funny because like, although I'm not old enough to be on the show, I still got the chance to like work with Twitch a couple of times, and it's been great. I mean, he's awesome, and I've always looked up to him. And like I did for Ellen's birthday last year, he asked if I would like do like a performance with him on Ellen with a couple other people, and it was just like so much fun. And it's crazy like to know like when I was 8 years old being like, oh my god, like I want to dance with him, to like it actually happening, and I'm only 15. Like,
I know.
crazy.
And Twitch is the nicest
Oh my god,
Yeah.
he is
man
the nicest human
alive,
being ever.
as is his wife Allison Holker.
Yes.
Yes.
they
Oh
will-
my god.
I'm going to be with them on National Dance Day on Saturday at the Segerstrom Center, and I'm super
Yes.
excited because I think that they are some of the greatest ambassadors for dance.
Oh, yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Not only talented, but giving and kind,
Yeah.
and they
They're
walk the
incredible
walk
role models. Yeah.
and talk the talk. Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, they're incredible.
I'm anytime I can praise them, I do, because I just think it's really, they deserve all the accolades that come their way.
For sure.
Yeah, but I just thought that was really cute. I was like, oh man, so you think, I know you both have, I mean, you would have what, 3 years, and you'd have 2 years if you ever wanted to do So You Think. After doing World of Dance, would you do another dance competition show? I know, it's a lot. It's a lot to wrap your brain around. And then also, you're an individual on So You Think.
That would take a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
That would definitely take a lot of thinking, because I wouldn't know where I'm going in 2 years. You know, I feel like I can't really decide what I'm going to be doing even next year, maybe even tomorrow, you know. So everything, I think especially for a dancer, everything is so last minute.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to go with the flow and kind of have to see what happens, especially because we can't drive too. We have to let our parents know, you know.
Or your older brother.
Exactly.
Which you're dragging him everywhere this summer.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's definitely something to think about, and I feel like it never hurts to try, but I think that would require some time. Yeah.
It does. I think, you know, especially just last night, you know, they were picking down to the top 5 women and everything, and
It's crazy.
You realize, like, you put your heart and soul in, and it
Yeah.
depending on what happens that day, especially after I watched last night's episode, I'm like, some people were like a shoo-in, and then they just had one bad dance day.
Yeah,
And then they weren't the shoo-in. And I was like, oh, because we all have bad days at work. We all have bad days
Yeah,
at the
for
studio.
sure.
It's called being human.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh. But so it's kind of heartbreaking to watch, and you put a lot of effort forward for a show like that.
Of course.
Yeah, it's incredible. Do you guys have any sort of short-term or long-term goals together? I mean, I know you don't know what you're going to do tomorrow and things like that, but I think that obviously this is a partnership that is working.
Yeah.
And outside of World of Dance, we can't talk about that, but outside of the show, you know, are you guys considering like doing more performances together? Are you going to do more concept videos?
Well, we haven't really talked about that kind of thing as much, you know, outside of World of Dance, because it's still happening.
Right.
So we haven't really had the time to really talk about that. But, I mean, as of right now, I've been trying to figure out a way to create some sort of project involving the both of us. Still don't know what it is yet. It's non-existent.
We've gone through like 5 different versions of it.
I've been working on it for like the past couple of months, and I don't even know what it's called. But it's definitely something that, you know, if there's any possible way that I can involve Kaycee into the things that I do, I think that would be great. Just because I feel like that kind of elevates whatever I think about dances, like what I think of dance. See, okay, this is where you help me stop talking, because I don't know where I'm going with
Kaycee,
this.
I guess you're supposed to jump in at this point. This is where the partnership.
This is where you help me
This is
out,
the lead
because
and
I
the
can't
follow.
finish my sentence.
Great.
But your turn. I guess it's your turn to lead, is what he's saying.
Oh, well, yeah, I think for sure within the future, we're definitely going to work more and continue to grow as partners, and extend beyond our limits and see what we are truly capable of. And yeah, like we want to do like more videos together, and really just keep on putting out content that's meaningful, instead of just like, oh, like a great dance, just like something that has a great message to it as well.
And not getting caught up in, because we all do at times, we're human, but getting caught up in social media likes and like getting that approval and things like that. I think keeping up with the fact that what you're doing is authentic and organic.
Yeah, of course.
Is true to who you guys are as people.
Yeah, I think, I mean, with all the expectations that are happening in social media and everything like that, it does put a lot of pressure on us. But at the same time, when we kind of just stop and think about what we're doing, and we're just realizing that we're doing this because we love it, and we're doing it because we believe that it's the right thing to do, and, you know, we're using our craft to really inspire others and impact others' lives, I think that that's something that really calms us down and just keeps us going. And I feel like that's something that's really important to think about.
I love that. Kaycee, we had a great question for you. Okay. And, you know, this is kind of interesting because it's like been a hot topic in the dance industry. Anna wanted to know when we're going to see you teach a filmed class. And I was like, we get into so many discussions about, do you tape a class? Do you not tape a class? What's happening, Kaycee? Give us a scoop.
Okay.
She's a great choreographer.
No. So, like, recently I have, like, started getting into, like, choreography and teaching. But for me, I feel like everyone has a different path. For me, my path, I feel like, is taking it slow. And instead of getting caught up in the social media world and filming a class and posting it and getting these views, like, I really want to focus on who I am and find who I am as a person before I put out anything. Because I don't want to just put out stuff for, like, content. I want to make sure whatever I put out is the rawest version of myself. And I'm not very, like, comfortable with putting out something if I'm not, like, extremely proud of it. So, like, I don't know when it's gonna be. I'm still, like, very young and still learning from so many people. And I'm thankful for this journey that I'm on, and we'll see where it takes me.
So you're finding your voice.
Yes.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, because I'll tell you, a lot of adults never find their voice. Yeah. You guys are doing it at such a young age, which is so impressive. I'm like, I'm going to go home and write new goals. Elizabeth, are you writing new goals as we speak? Yes.
Oh,
She's writing them on her phone. I'm writing them in my notebook right here. No, you guys are very, you know, and I mean this as an incredible compliment, because you guys are very impressive. You're very mature. You've got your heads on straight. You've got great family members that are here with you.
Thank you.
What does their support mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. I mean, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't even be alive. I mean, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we love to do. I mean, their support means everything to us. Yeah, the world.
Yeah, if it wasn't for our families and how they support us, I think we definitely wouldn't be where we are today, especially here. I mean, we don't drive, so we wouldn't even be here right now. But definitely, like, my mom, she takes me everywhere 24/7, and she does everything for me, like, with, like, social media and, like, being able to take me to dance classes and really improve my training, and helping me also, like, tap into my acting goal as well. And it's just, I'm incredibly thankful for all of my family's support, and they've definitely impacted my life and have made me the person I am today.
Okay, so you just said acting. Dance movie? Dance movie on your horizon? Come on.
I mean, hopefully. Acting's definitely one of my passions, and I'm, like, getting more into it now. And hopefully something will happen.
I always think dance movies are a great, like, entrance for dancers, because you get a little bit of both. You get both sides, and then you can, you know, if you get something outside of dance, that's amazing. But I'm like, there's so many great dance films out there, and, you know, they just keep on coming up and coming up. So I'm throwing it out there, you guys. Kaycee Rice is available to be cast in your next dance film. All right, everyone on Twitter and Instagram, throw that out there, so all of the directors and choreographers that are working on films hear it. Because we know that your army is incredible. Right. Well, you guys, this really was an incredible hour. I just think that you guys are just hitting all the right notes, and you've got your heads on straight, and I think I'm impressed. So,
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to watching your World of Dance journey continue into the duels.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Really
so if anyone's not following Sean and Kaycee, which at this point I think is totally impossible, but Kaycee, first tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Like our users? Or
your account, like at Kaycee Rice Official.
All right, well, let me get this.
Right here.
So my Instagram is Kaycee Rice Official, and same as my Facebook. And then my Twitter is Kaycee Rice, and then my YouTube, check out videos every Wednesday, is Kaycee Rice Official channel.
I love it. Sean, how about you?
Oh,
At Sean Lew.
Thanks for knowing that. pretty easy.
Straight across the board?
Yep.
No,
It's-
not on Twitter.
No, on Twitter it's 1125. 1125 is my birthday.
I was going to say, is it your birthday?
Yeah, Sean
What?
Lou 1125. I mean, it's no secret.
Fellow Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then Facebook is my name, and then YouTube is
Sean Lew.
Actually, no,
SEANLEW.
it's Sarah, Cerise, Sean. That's my siblings and my. That's. I don't know. It's my name, but yeah, you can. Yeah, it's my name. Everything's my name. So.
Are you Sean Lou? I've seen a million videos. I'm Sean Lou.
Yes.
Oh yes,
I am
I'm
Sean Lew.
Oh, I'm Sean Lou.
We're all
And
Sean
I'm-
Lew.
Oh,
Yeah, we're all supposed to be like, and I'm Sean Lou
you're watching
Sean Lew.
on the To the Point show. On the Sean Lou show.
on. Whoa, what?
Oh,
No.
What about Sean Lew approved?
Oh.
Yeah.
Check out Sean Lou approved on KC Network. It's a.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an
It's
inside
a fake
joke.
TV show.
It's an inside joke, so no one's gonna get it.
they're all going to steal my job before long. It's fantastic.
Just imagine we're interviewing you now.
Okay,
Welcome
fantastic.
to the Popcorn Talk.
Yes, thank you so much. To the Point.
Thank you for joining us today. How are you today?
What questions do you have for me? All right, you guys, this was an incredible hour. Wishing you the best of luck in World of Dance.
Thank you
Please
so much.
come back, okay? When you
Yes.
guys
We will.
have more news, dance concept videos to share, bring them right here
Yes,
with us
for
to the
sure.
point.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us this week here at Popcorn Talk in association with Dance Network. For all of your dance news, check out dancenetwork.tv. Next week, we will have Marinda Davis in here talking all about her incredible journey. We'll see you all next week.
Bye bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.